Welcome to Survivin' This Together, another Survivor podcast. This week we're discussing the premiere episode of Season 35, Heroes vs. Healers and Hustlers and Hogwarts and Harry Potter. I'm Levi.
I'm Lauri.
And I'm Brandon. Alright, let's get to talking about this episode, guys.
This season started with another marooning, which I think the whole ship with items and all of that is just a given at this point. I think it's been like 5 or 6 seasons that they've done this now in a row.
Yeah, I love the marooning. It's such a great intro to the, every season of Survivor because it's how it all started. And I'm just waiting for someone to get a crate thrown on their head. I love it because Jeff says, "This is what you've been waiting for. You're here. Do it. Now go."
Before the actual marooning happened, though, they did the whole, chatting, and, Jeff explains to them, you guys are on Survivor. This is what it's going to be like, and, gets a feel like they really have to bring home the whole theme. And at one point, they talk to each one. They're like, "You guys are healers," and talk about them being doctors and being cool and stuff. And "You guys are heroes, and hustlers are super hard workers. Would you consider yourself a hard worker, Allie, the YouTube assistant?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course." And they, I never know if it's editing or if it's, actual reaction, but they pan the camera over to Ryan, who just, gave the biggest eye roll at her saying that her job was hard work.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of editing because there was no, follow-up with him saying, "Yeah, right. Please, I'm a bellhop. I'm the real hustler here."
So we get Jeff explaining the whole concept of the marooning, and the camera pans to show that there's a very, usually it's kind of hidden in a bottle or something, but this time it's literally just a satchel that says secret advantage on it.
And it's huge. It's like a box.
Yeah. Jeff also explains that there's this, torch thing, and whoever is the first one to get their people up there to light it wins, and the first people who get it get a fire starting kit, which they never showed it, so I assume it's just a thing of gasoline or something. The second people get a flint, and then he literally says, "Third tribe, you're just losers." He used the word loser, and Jeff was super sassy at the beginning of this episode, and it was my favorite.
I was just gonna use that exact word. He was a sassy little guy.
After they get on the boat and stuff, they only have 30 seconds or something, and then they have to start making their way. And they show him really excitedly jumping down and grabbing this bell and ringing it really furiously, and then jumping in a boat and then going go, go, go to whoever's the boat driver.
Yeah, that's true. Jeff got a little bit of fun focus time there. When I was watching that part, I was thinking to myself, instead of being winner gets this, second place gets this, loser gets nothing. I was thinking maybe they should do a season where it's more punishing, where it's winner gets a normal camp. Second place, we take half your rice. Third place, you get the camp that's made out of sharp rocks.
I see where you're going with that. Then you get a season like Africa or something where everybody's just really depressed and hungry, and I get that they're all going to be hungry and worn down and stuff, but there's a limit to where they get so hungry and so not entertaining that they're just lethargic and it's not interesting and they can't game because they're all just wanting to kill each other for food.
I agree, and I was exaggerating, but I mean I wish there was maybe a punishment, especially with a 3-tribe game. Have first place win something, second place nothing, third place gets a small punishment.
Yeah, they get yelled at by Jeff Probst. That's punishment enough.
That's a valid point. Ryan found that advantage during the kickoff of this.
I love how obvious he was about it, and I also love that the smallest person got this giant advantage and had to shove it down his pants super fast. It was a really funny visual.
Well, yeah, but those are super hectic. If you're trying to grab every fruit you can, you're not paying attention to the person who's adjusting his shorts, I think.
Oh no, I mean for viewers, on TV, it was very haphazard the way he just he kind of went olive oily for a second, his arms were no longer part of his being.
I like Ryan exactly as much as I thought I would.
Me too.
I'm a Ryan fan.
I like him. I just feel exactly the same way I felt about him that I did pregame.
So at this point, they all get in the boats, and the healers and the heroes are pretty even, but the hustlers are not great. They just kind of went in circles. The whole thing was happening, and they showed them in the background of the shot,
and
just kind of slowly.
Lauren is a fisherwoman. She should have known what to do. And she's all paddling backwards, trying to get to shore backwards.
I don't think she's fishing on industrial level fishing in a rowboat though.
Well, she should still know how to use one. She's on water, right?
Okay, right after that though, after they landed and they're like trying to like get their torches lit, I think that was Chrissy maybe was cracking me up when they're like use the light, use the light, and she gives him a funny look and she goes, no way.
Oh yeah,
That's
that was
cracking
Rourke.
me up.
I think
She's
that
like,
was
what?
Rourke.
No?
Thank you. Yeah, they're like use the light, use the light. She's like, what? No way. That was I got a kick out of
Okay,
that.
I'm super coming around on Rourke. Like, that moment was, like, the first part of me being like, okay, maybe.
I
And
love
then there's
her.
a few more throughout the episode that I'm like, okay, I think Brandon's right on this one.
She's gonna be great.
So yeah, the Hustlers did like really lose this one. They weren't even within like ear distance to get yelled at by Jeff. He's kind of like, I'll tell him later.
So we get into some time with the healers, and Joe, probation officer, like, in a couple seconds, dashed every hope I had for him for being a more self-aware Tony. Like, okay, first of all, it was pretty subtle, but he kept calling all of the women females, which girls don't like that. Ladies don't like that. Don't call women females. Like, it's just gross. And, like, I saw a couple of them kind of look at him when he said that, and they're like, okay, this is who you are. Cool. And then, like, he goes up to Mike, and he's like, I know you have the idol. I know you were looking for the idol. And just super, super aggro about it. And Mike's just like, I'm kind of honored that you think I have it this fast, but I do not.
What really set me off about Joe is he referred to his teammates as his victims.
Ooh, I didn't catch that, but...
This guy is Rodney. This guy is Rodney. This is who we have. But on the opposite side of that, this made me a Mike fan. A lot. I really like Mike. I think he's adorable.
I think he handled that situation about as well as he could.
Yeah. But one of my favorite moments was when Joe goes, how have you searched this whole island and not found the idol? And Mike just goes, well, I haven't searched the whole island. Oh, I just loved it.
Yeah, I feel that there's a Mike versus Joe battle brewing, and I look forward to it.
Joe, like, he's just gonna be annoying and a liability because he seems like a hothead already. Like, he's not the guy you see, like, the interactions he's had already, and you're like, this guy will keep my secrets. He won't backstab me if I look the wrong way.
Him and Alan will be good together. Hopefully they can make the merge together.
Yeah. Okay, so when they first showed Alan, like, he seemed like he was really perceptive, where he was talking about, like, keeping an eye on players and how people treat each other. I was like, okay, this guy's in tune. This guy's, like, paying attention to what's going on around him, and then he just got wacky.
His edit has been a roller coaster already. Some of these people watched as many seasons of Survivor as they could in, like, a month, and so they go into it with just, like, our 15 years of strategy and play really hard and are, like, just thinking of every single thing they've seen instead of assessing their current situation. And I think that's where Alan's at.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this guy.
It was insane. I couldn't even figure out what he was trying to do.
Yeah, he did that strip search. Yeah, he said it was all part of some, like, master plan to, like, where he's like, oh yeah, no, I know I seem like crazy, but that's just part of what I'm doing. I'm just sowing, like, the seeds of, like, whatever with in between them. He's like, oh yeah, I've got a plan. It's working.
Man, just straight away, the whole Heroes tribe was just like, they hit the ground running as fast as they could. We have straight away, we have the Alan, JP, Ashley, Ben, and then we have the Mom Squad plus Ben and Alan. Just right away, there's already like 18 different alliances and 18 different ways it could go. Like, they're all playing super hard.
I really think Chrissy's probably playing the best on this tribe right now. I think she's in the best position after this tribal, which we'll probably, we'll get to it.
Yeah, Chrissy seems like she's going to be a really level-headed player. I got to tell you, when Patrick goes, I forgot I had a crab in my pants, that was cracking me up.
He did. I thought it was like a euphemism or something, but he literally had a crab. Like, how do you...
He's like got pinched or something. He's like walking out like, oh, pinch. Ah, what the hell? Oh yeah, crab.
He sounded like Woody from Toy Story. Like, I've got a snake in my boot, and he's kind of Southern too. So it's like double down on that. He's goofy. I did not expect him to be that silly.
Yeah,
it was
he's really
fantastic.
animated. Every time he was shown, he was like flailing his arms and legs around, grabbing things out of his crotch and.
Which is funny. He was so subdued in his pregame press. He's like, "Well, I have a moving company. It was just a thing that we were doing, but it worked out really well." And then he's like, "I've got a crab." And he's just like,
"Yeah, no." And the scenes from the next episode, it looks like that comes back to haunt him. But yeah, then we got the immunity super idol. This is when they discussed that when Ryan got a chance to read the note that came with the immunity super idol. There was a note that says, if you don't use it, you have to pass it off, and you can't take credit for being the person that passed it off.
Well, but okay, so Chrissy didn't use it, so I doubt she's going to tell anybody else about it. So when they hit merge, if they're both still around, he can go up to her and he'll be the only other person who knew about it and be like, hey, I gave that to you. So, like, when it matters, he'll be able to get credit if he wants. But, like, if it somehow backfired, then he could not take credit for it and be fine, too.
We'll see if that sticks around, though, because Devin also knew about the idol. So I don't know if he knows about the plan to give it to Chrissy. I assume he does.
I feel like this is going to be like the legacy advantage where it just never pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to.
I think that's the end of it.
That's okay, though. Because super idols are kind of lame, so, like, it's good that it expired.
I think that's a really good balance to a really powerful thing. Like, they needed to nerf the super idol a bit, and this does it well.
After watching Sari get idled out on Game Changers, I don't know. I changed my tune on idols a lot.
So Sari was doing pretty well, but I don't think she ever had an actual chance to win that season. So it sucks that that's how she had to go, but it's also good because, like, she can still say that she didn't get voted out because she was a bad player. Like, she was kind of default out, so, like, her legacy is, like, still on a really good note.
Okay, so JP and Ashley did the power couple thing. That's a no good for them.
Oh, God, it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
I feel like they're not even that close. I feel like this, when you're on a tribe of 6 people, everything shows. And I think that's the only reason they're even being discussed.
No, there was flirting. There was clear flirting. And, like, the fact that JP was, like, out at night and then, like, she saw Alan talking to him and she was the one who came and, like, stood up for him and was like, leave him alone and stuff. Like, there's something there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe it. It's one of those things. It's all about appearances in these first few days. Like, the first person to go home usually is either the weirdo or not good at challenges because, like, you don't really know anybody. You got to pick something to vote people off.
Anyway, so we get back to the Healers Tribe and we get some more time with Dr. Mike. We get Mike explaining that he's like, I have kids at home. I love my life. I'm not here for adventure. I can go on vacations when I want. I am here to win.
See, I figured he would be the opposite. I figured he would say, I'm not here for the money. I have a good job. I'm here for the adventure.
Oh, he's a fan, though. Like, his child is named after Ethan Zahn. Like, you don't name your kid after Survivor winner and not...
We don't get much from any of the other healers at all. Jessica talks about how she thinks Cole's cute. We literally don't hear from Rourke or Desi.
We see clips of Jessica and Cole in the next season, the next episode. That's clearly going to be a focus on the next Wednesday.
Yeah, I generally like the 3-tribe split, but I hope it ends soon because there's so much going, like, you can only focus on each one so much, so you just don't get a lot of anybody.
What do you guys think about this second challenge? This one where they had to carry the maze, like across the water and up the hill. And
hold on, though. First, we got some time with the Hustlers, and we see the return of JT and Fishback.
Oh my God, you're right.
So we have Devin, who's like super beefy and charming and nice, and then we have Ryan, turtleneck extraordinaire, who's like clearly the smart guy, and they form a bromance right away, and it is very reminiscent of Fishback and JT getting together.
You're saying Ryan and Devin is like JT and Fishback?
Oh, for sure.
I see that.
Yeah, 100%.
I was so happy when they were talking and like strategizing. I had the biggest smile. I was like almost cheering in my chair. I was like, this is going to be the best duo ever. Because Devin's my winner pick.
Yeah, they cement it right away. Like but Ryan, this is when he tells him about the idol where he's like, you know what, man, I'm so into this bromance. I'm going to tell you about my secret advantage that I found. And then Devin's like, man, it's so cool that you found it. You're so smart. That's so dreamy. And then they hugged.
They have to go to the end together.
Like, they have to go to Final 3 and then get beat by Mike. I'm okay with that situation.
I could deal with that.
Yeah, so right before, like, the last thing we see right before we go to the challenge is firefighter JP dropping trowel because why not? Let's all take off our pants to prove, like, did Alan specifically ask him to take off his pants, or was he just like, dude, I don't have it?
Alan just kept going like, yo, that bulge, it's an idol. Yo, that bulge, I see the bulge. Yeah, I don't know. That was not good for a lot of reasons.
I cannot understand the mentality where of Alan. I cannot see where he's coming from with this. I would never be. I don't know.
Yeah, he says he has a plan. I want to see if there's a plan. Like, maybe it's working. I liked the second challenge. I liked this maze challenge.
God, it looked so fun. Like, when they got to go down the roller coaster thing into the dirt, I'm like, that genuinely
great.
looks like it would be so much fun. I would do that, like, be like, Jeff, can everybody else go back? I just want some time with this roller coaster, please.
It's funny that you say that. I was actually watching a YouTube video of, like, a behind the scenes when they were putting that challenge together with, like, the sawdust. And while the guy that does the games was talking, there was, like, somebody off camera, like, blowing sawdust towards him. And he was, like, saying, like, oh, yeah, it's snowing here. That's weird. Like, they're just goofing around playing with sawdust at the pre-game.
Well, I want to talk about this puzzle. I feel like they finally figured out a way to do the 3 puzzles that works, where every tribe has to pick a different one.
I thought that was smart how they did that. 'Cause, yeah, I went in thinking, like, oh, everybody's going to, like, 2 people are going to pick that one, maybe one person picked that one. They're like, nope, first come, first pick. Like, oh, I like that.
Yeah, during this challenge, Brandon, is when the other part where Rourke, like, really won me over is it was Mike, and I can't remember who else was working on the healers, like, maze at the end, but she was directing them. But usually, like, if there's a person yelling, like, do this, it's, like, kind of annoying, but she was doing a really good job of, like, offering them suggestions and guidelines from her different viewpoint without being super pushy about it, and it looked like they actually appreciated her help. Like, so she somehow managed to backseat puzzle without being atrocious, which was nice.
True. That's true. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I remember seeing that early on where she was kind of like, leaning against that side, then leaning against that side because they're trying to go for a straight shot. Yeah.
Right after the challenge, Chrissy was hyperventilating, and it was like that moment exactly. I was like, okay, Ryan's giving her the thing. Like, it was pretty obvious. He's like, she's probably not doing great. I love how Jeff was like, do you need help or do you just want your tribe to help you? And, like, waited a second. He's like, this is what Survivor's about. We're all helping each other, but now you gotta get rid of somebody. Then we get back to the heroes tribe, and Alan Ball is like, do you know what? I haven't shaken things up enough. I need a second alliance just in case. So this is where he starts talking to Katrina and Chrissy, and he's like, hey, Ben, we're working with these guys now. And Ben's just like, okay, I can't tell you no, I guess, but here we are. Like, he just, like, side-eyed him pretty strong.
Ben is absolutely right. That's what you do. Somebody's like, hey, we should work together. You say, yeah.
Yeah, and Levi, you're right with Ben. The whole time I was thinking, like, why would you pair up with this guy? But that's what you have to do. You have to say, let's go with this train. Let's see where it takes me.
Especially that, like, Alan, like, if you're like, no, Alan, I don't want to work with you, like, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's generally what winning players say. They're like, anytime somebody says we should work together, no matter how you feel, you say yes. We should absolutely do that. 100% on your side to the end, final 2.
What's funny here is, like, with our cast assessment, I was like, Ben's going to be explosive. Ben's going to rub people the wrong way. Alan's going to be the quiet jock guy, and boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. Me too. I thought Ben was going to be insane, but Ben's really cool.
Yeah, that's true. I had the same kind of opinion.
So we get to where Chrissy gets this super idol. Do you think Ryan gives it to her because she was throwing up and he thought,
oh, definitely.
Well, she looks weak. I want to keep her around.
Well, I don't think it was I'm going to keep her around. It's just like he didn't know who needed it. Like, the only real interaction they've gotten is at these challenges, so he just sees her and sees that, like, hey, she probably could benefit from this. And, like, if he uses it in a way that benefits somebody else and he can take credit for that later, then he gets an ally.
I think his reasoning was give it to their weakest player who they were going to vote out. That way they have one less strong player at the next challenge. Therefore, his team does better. And by her throwing up, he was like, oh, she's the weakest, probably going to get voted out. Let's give her this so that, like, one of the big guys gets, like, kicked out instead. Therefore,
I feel like a lot of it probably has to do with he's a super fan, and what would he want to see is he'd want to see it get used, and she's probably the one that needed it.
Yeah, so basically it was showmance versus keeping the tribe strong. So I just, like, anytime it says, like, oh, we need to keep the tribe strong, like, y'all, like, Ben and Alan and all of them were there, and you guys still lost. Like, we're the women actually the weakest ones at this challenge. Every time they say this, it kind of defaults to, like, we need to keep the strong, beefy guys. But, like, the strong, beefy guys aren't always the best asset. It's like, I think that's kind of a crap excuse that often gets used.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think that's just the way it goes. Like we said at the top of the podcast, Katrina goes home because she's labeled a mother. I thought Ashley was going home. I thought that Chrissy was going to use the idol because it's like Levi was saying earlier, they didn't show us anything about where she was voting. So, yeah, I thought she would save the mom, but then after she didn't, I was really glad that she hadn't used it. Because why put a target on herself?
My thought was, like, even her job is assessing the future risk of present-day decisions. So the future risk of being tied to Katrina meant that, like, this is the woman who's lying about her age, so she doesn't want to keep working with the other old lady.
Yeah, that's a really good point. She probably wanted her gone anyway.
I will agree with you guys that I think she probably made the right decision, but we clearly have different motives for watching this show. Like, I want to see, like, all the drama and craziness and wacky good TV things, and I want to see idols get used successfully. And, like, even though that would have been bad for Chrissy's game potentially, like, I was hoping to see that idol come out and people going, what? You know, because I would have loved that. I was so hoping. I was sad and got a little grumpy when it didn't happen. But on that note, they were talking about Ryan having to pass off the idol. And I was curious how, like, I thought he was going to have to actually, like, sneak into their camp or something. We never saw that. It was kind of like she found it in her bag. So, like, curious what happened. Must have been what happened.
It'd be way more fun to watch Ryan, like, slither through their camp and, like, hide it in someone's bag.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to see, too. But, yeah, what do you get? You get what you get.
What are you doing here? Oh, is this not my camp? Oops, my bad.
Like, Chrissy's looking at these other, like, 12 people?
Like, who did
this?
Like,
where did this come from? I am very excited to see Ben and Chrissy work together. I think they're going to be amazing together.
Oh, yes.
The looks that Ben was giving Alan were just, I think, one of my favorite parts of the episode, because the side eye was just amazing. But, like, just like, okay, buddy, yeah, sure, you're totally right. This will be great.
Ben's smarter than he looked during the preseason stuff. Like, I don't want to, I'm not talking trash. Like I said, my best guess about Ben preseason was that he was going to be the guy that exploded, but I think Ben's a really solid player. I think he's going to make it really far, assuming his team doesn't just do terribly. So in the next episode, we saw some fun stuff. It looks like Chrissy and Ben are going to start working together. It looks like Jessica and Cole will have a showmance, although we haven't seen a lot of them yet. It also looks like Patrick is a little too nuts for Allie.
I loved it. She's like, how am I going to work with him? And he's crazy. There was the one point we didn't talk about, too. Patrick was, like, holding, like, one of those, like, walking stick bugs. He's like, should I eat it, guys? And they're like, no. And he's like, should I eat it? And they're like, still no. He's like, what about now? What if I just ate it? And they're like, no, buddy.
Man.
I think that's the kind of, like, fun I like seeing. Like, when Ryan's trying to have fun, it's very, like, calculated, where he's like, I bet this would be a great GIF. Whereas Patrick's just, like, having a blast. Like, he's not trying to do anything. He's just there to just be him. And it's not calculated.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And that's actually kind of what I was expecting to see out of Cole, just the way Cole was talking about how he kind of, you know, lives out of his car and he's not going for adventure. And I'm like, and I watch Patrick, I'm like, man, that's the adventure guy.
I wonder if they had any idea Patrick was that animated. It was just such a shock when he started, like, dancing around.
Oh, it's so good.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Do you imagine, like, when they were filming his preseason interviews and he was very calm and like, oh yeah, I'm a normal guy, and they're just like, ooh, the viewers are going to love this evolution.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say? Nope. Okay. Nope. Well, tune in next week and stuff.
Thanks for listening to this episode of We're Surviving This Together. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at survivingthistogether@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at survivin2gether and on Facebook. If you like what you heard here, please leave us a review.